Hey guys, it's Emma, and I decided to put my life online. And I'm jumping on here today to talk about my Christmas present. I'm just kidding. Well, not really. Actually, my boyfriend this year, he found an AirBnB Experience in Toronto that was a gluten-free tour. So, for those of you who don't know me, I have celiac and I do eat gluten-free entirely, and I do find it hard to find places to eat. And, well, one day we were looking on Airbnb for other reasons, and I stumbled upon this gluten-free tour, and I said, hey, this looks pretty cool, and like the good boyfriend he is, he remembered, and so for Christmas, he got me that as part of my Christmas present, and it was scheduled to happen in January. So January comes around, and I'm pretty excited, and I'm looking it up, and I'm looking up the girl that hosts the tour. Turns out her name is Rachael, and she has an Instagram. It's called Gluten Freedom Inc., I believe. I'll link it down below. I'll also link the Airbnb experience below. And the gist of it is that we would meet Rachael at the specific spot. She's coordinating with my boyfriend through Airbnb messaging. I'm not entirely sure how that works. But we'd meet Rachael at the specific spot, and there was going to be 2 other people on the tour with us, and we would go walking through the neighborhoods of Kensington and King West, I think, in Toronto, and she'd take us to a couple spots. We would have coffee at one place, there was a bakery, and we ended at a pizza place, which was very exciting. And along the way, she would chat, and she'd point out some other really awesome spots so that we could sort of keep track and keep note for the next time that we came back to Toronto, or we could stop in and get something to go if we just really wanted to gorge ourselves that day. So all in all, it was a really amazing experience, and I just thought it'd be kind of fun to chat about it and to talk a little bit more about eating gluten-free and about my experience with Rachael, and yeah, so here we go. So before I jump into my whole experience on the actual tour, I thought it'd be nice to chat about a little bit why I just enjoyed the Airbnb experience in general. What's really cool about the Airbnb experience is if you're already searching somewhere to stay in a different city, for example, while you're on vacation, then these pop up and they tell you just different experiences in the area. It's really great because they're usually hosted by locals, and I mean, I'm all for supporting a local hustler and helping them achieve whatever dreams they want to achieve through their experiences. And it's really cool because when you see the area by a local, you're getting a completely different experience than a tour. The local doesn't have anything to gain by upselling the positive traits or downselling the negative traits of a city. They're just there to tell it like it is and to point out different things that they enjoy about their city and how they've lived there and how they have created their sort of niche there. So it was really cool. I also like the idea of an Airbnb experience for a gift instead of a physical thing, because if you've watched my New Year's resolutions video, you know that I am trying to accumulate less things this year in terms of stuff and accumulate more memories and experiences. So this definitely fit right in with that sort of ideology. It supported a local hustler. Rachael herself was great. And now I just kind of find it fun to browse sort of local experiences or experiences near me just to see if there's something else new and exciting to do that's around the corner, because why not? Sometimes you think you know your own city like the back of your hand, and then someone else is going to show you something completely new. Some other experiences that kind of popped out to me were, for the various really big cities, there are Instagram tours. So in Toronto, that means that they can take you to the different graffiti that's very popular for people to have, or the different sites that are really popular. So if you've never been to Toronto before, they'll take you to all the spots that you want to get that Instagram shot. I found that kind of laughable almost, but hey, good idea. You're getting money that way, and like good idea for the people who started that experience, because I'm sure they're just busy every weekend. There's one like that in LA, and I think there's just other ones like that. So go on over to Airbnb and look at the experiences instead of just the apartments and the rooms, and you might find something else really cool. So what about my actual experience? What about day of? We lucked out sort of in 2 ways. That it was that one warm weekend in January, so if you live in Ontario, then you know what I'm talking about. That one warm weekend in January, which was really awesome. So the actual walking was really quite nice. It got a little bit cooler in the afternoon, but I mean, we were prepared for January, bundled up with our scarves and our coats. So that was probably the best that we could have expected. And secondly, there was supposed to be another couple on the tour with us, and they ended up having to cancel, so it was just us, which meant when we woke up a little bit late and confused the time we were supposed to meet Rachael, she was able to wait for us, but also it meant that it was just us and Rachael, which created like a really intimate experience. It was really cool. I felt like I got to really get to know Rachael and her experience with gluten-free eating and gluten-free diagnosis, and just sort of bonded over that. I do think it would have been kind of cool to have another couple there, mostly because I think there were times where my boyfriend got really bored talking about gluten-free food because, well, he likes to see that I'm happy. He just doesn't really know anything about it or really care, and that's fine with him. So it would have been interesting if there was another person there that he could have chatted with, or just another group of people, because it's kind of interesting to always meet people, and at least at this sort of experience, you're definitely going to have one thing in common. So I was kind of looking forward to meeting 2 new people and pushing myself out of my comfort zone a little bit that way, but it's okay that they weren't there. I'm kind of sad for them that they missed out on this experience, but overall the day was really nice weather, and it was just me, my boyfriend, and Rachael, so it was a really nice experience. And now we can get to what you're all waiting for, and that's actually the food. So we started the day at Almond Butterfly, and I'll be able to insert a few clips so you can kind of see what it looks like. I'm still really nervous to pull out my camera or my phone in public, so you're going to see more of my face than you are of the places and of the food, but I hope you understand. Cute little cafe, entirely gluten-free, so there was no way of cross-contamination there. Had this big window and just a really cool vibe. Like, I really could see myself curled up in the corner there with a coffee and treats, actual homework treats at a cafe for once, doing my homework all day or something like that if I lived in the area. I got a bagel with cream cheese, and my boyfriend got just a bagel. I think they're both just sesame bagels. I really liked it. I found it really chewy, and still nicely toasted, which is hard to do when you're gluten-free. You know. My boyfriend wasn't a huge fan, so if you're going to take a non-gluten-free foodie there, maybe try something else on the menu. He just said the texture wasn't for him, but I mean, he's used to normal bagels. For me, it was a top-notch gluten-free bagel, and I really enjoyed it. It really did fill me up, which kind of made a problem for the rest of the day. But it was really a good way to start my day because I can't remember the last time I've had a good bagel. The next stop was Bunners Bakery, which when we opened the door, I just smelled cinnamon. And it was delicious. That smell, it almost felt like I could taste cinnamon buns. So of course, I got a cinnamon bun. I did get it to go, so I do have to say take my review with a little bit of a grain of salt because I did let it cool throughout the day. So by the time I got home that night, the cinnamon bun was a little bit hard. It still tasted very good. And when I was looking at them when they were fresh, you could tell that it was probably going to be quite chewy and quite moist. But as gluten-free things go, you let them cool down when they're supposed to be served warm, and they kind of solidify. And I did experience that a little bit with my cinnamon bun, but it still tasted great. It just wasn't that texture I was really hoping I would get. Baby got the juice, got the sauce, you got everything. Bunners itself is a nice little bakery. You can kind of see what they're doing in the back, which is really cool, and they've got everything laid out for you to choose from. It's not a place that you're going to sit and enjoy, at least inside. I don't know if during the spring that they have an outdoor seating area or anything like that, but it's a really great place just to poke in, see what treats on the way, grab something to go, and eat it relatively quickly afterwards. So like sort of on your way home, grab a little treat from Bunners and treat yourself, and then continue on your day. That cinnamon bun, I am a little disappointed. I do wish I had eaten, or at least taken a bite of it when we first got it, but I was still full from that bagel. I had just finished it on our walk. So, you know, you live and you learn, and we're going to have to go back because now I just have to try everything on the menu, right? So after Bunners, we continued our walk, and we walked for a pretty decent amount of time, but I love walking and people watching and just seeing what there is to see along the way. Rachael kept pointing out different spots. There's one gluten-free fried chicken place that I am taking my boyfriend back to. He does not have a choice because I need to try that. I need that in my life. I'll list the name below. And it was really nice. Rachael did send us the list of all the places we passed afterwards. I don't want to list them all below because Rachael has curated that list herself from her own experiences and, you know, going out and trying and talking to restaurant owners. So I'm going to link her website and the AirBnB Experience below. And the names of the places that I've particularly mentioned, but I definitely think this is something, go experience, or go at least check out her website and see the list for yourself, because it's pretty great, and I think she deserves the credit for that. So anyways, after Bunners, we walked around, and we walked the rest of the way out of Kensington through to the other neighborhoods, and we stopped for the third and final stop at Pizzeria Libretto. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I have died and gone to gluten-free heaven because of this pizza. I had the prosciutto and arugula, because if you're going to go to a real authentic Italian place, you need to have a real authentic Italian pizza. And it was just so good. The toppings themselves were amazing, but I don't care about that. I know I can go anywhere and get good gluten toppings on a pizza, but it's the crust. And that crust... And you take a minute. It was so good. It was chewy. It was still stretchy. It had a nice like charcoal bottom because they're made in an actual pizza oven. And at this location, they have a separate gluten-free only pizza oven, so no cross-contamination. And it was just so good. And it was like an individual serving size, and I think I ate maybe the equivalent of a slice. But I took it to go with me, and it held up to go. I think I had it the next night, and actually the next day after that as well, and it was still going strong, still tasted delicious. That chef, he actually spent years developing this recipe, and it's kind of cool because Rachael has obviously built up a relationship with some of these owners, and she was actually telling us a story about how he was telling her he wanted to make a gluten-free crust, and then she never really heard about it again, and then he called her back, or they were communicating back, and he said, oh, you have to come try it. So she actually got to help him sort of develop that crust, and oh man, it is so good. The overall vibe of that restaurant is really cool. It really vibe at this place is really cool. There's a window, so you can actually see the guys working the dough, and you just kind of... I really wanted to go over it and videotape them, but I was a little embarrassed, so I didn't. But it's just really cool. You kind of get insight into the process that way. I did not see them spinning the dough, and that made me a little sad. What can you do? But the actual vibe of the restaurant, it feels really authentic. The staff are really knowledgeable and really sweet, but it still feels very modern too, which is really nice. They were actually setting up for this food tasting event, and Rachael actually knew one of the guys that was setting up that event or running that event, so that was also cool. So it's really clear that Rachael really has made like a niche in sort of the food community in that area, and it's really kind of cool to sort of be fly on the wall, or to get a little bit of a glimpse through her into that experience. So that was actually like an added bonus, just to kind of see the people she knew and the conversations she was able to have. That pizza, though, I'm still just distracted by the thought of it. So those are the 3 restaurants we went to, and then she pointed out countless more. Overall, the experience with Rachael was really great. You can really tell that she's passionate about it, and she's passionate about creating a community around gluten-free, healthy eating, positive vibes, that kind of thing. I still follow her on Instagram. It was actually kind of cool. She did an Instagram story of my pizza, and I felt a little famous for a second. I was like, ooh, that's mine. And I saw it later on her Insta story because I follow it. It's a little embarrassing if she's ever going to see this, but, so yeah, so I felt a little, like, not starstruck, but a little like, oh, this is this person, she's hustling, and she's doing an amazing job being an influencer and a food blogger, and just really cool to get to hang out with her. We had some really awesome chats about social marketing and just, like, social media and how to use it as a tool in general, so it was just really cool getting to spend the day with her. So that's my experience with AirBnB Experience and Gluten Freedom Inc. So I hope you enjoyed hearing about it. All in all, I would say if you've learned anything from this, go check out Rachael's stuff. Go get this experience, or at least go check out any AirBnB experience in your area or wherever you're going to plan your next trip. It was really cool getting to see sort of real, hidden away local spots with a local's knowledge. And Rachael is great. The Airbnb experience that she offers is really awesome. I can only have positive recommendations. So hope you enjoyed getting a little glimpse with my very few clips. I'm going to get better at that. But I had fun on that day. It was a great Christmas present. Thank you. And I hope you enjoyed hearing about it. Go ahead and subscribe or like this video if you want to see more gluten-free videos, tips, tricks, sort of information that I've gained from eating gluten-free, or if you just want to follow me along on my life, because I'm Emma, and I'm putting my life online, and I will see you next time. Bye!